Hi, I'm Angela. I'm half Japanese and half Nigerian.
My mom spoke to me in Russian growing up, and my dad spoke to me in Japanese. So I was just able to
notice that, oh yeah, I don't have a pure Japanese look as they do.
I am half Japanese. I do have like Japanese blood, but
Say when I was in Bahamas, I was called more or less white boy. And then I come to Japan, and then of course I'm darker than everyone.
Maybe you can introduce yourself in Japanese and Arabic.
私の名前はノアです。お母さんは日本人で、お父さんはモロッコ人。
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Takashi. So today I'm going to interview mixed race Japanese people. What's it like living in Japan for half Japanese? Okay, let's get started. Thank you for your time. Can you introduce yourself?
so I'm Kat and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My mom is Japanese from Nagasaki and my dad is from Boston and American white. And I am a exchange student at Sophia University.
And you're gonna leave Japan in a few days.
Yes, I'm leaving this Sunday.
Wow.
Back to USA.
It's your first time living in Japan, right?
Yes. Yes.
What was it like growing up in America as half Japanese?
Growing up, I feel like most people saw me as like an Asian, even though I'm still half. They don't really care what kind of Asian I was. It was just like, oh, she's Asian. She's an Asian girl. I was too white for the Asian students and I was too Asian for like white students kind of thing. Very like, I feel like I've heard this a lot, but just kind of like that same experience. And then when I'd come to Japan, it'd be like, oh, foreigner kind of thing. In my opinion, this is just how I feel, but I feel like I'm not Japanese enough for Japanese society. I feel like sometimes it might be like almost like requirements to be considered Japanese in like Japan. Like I do have citizenship. I am half Japanese. I do have like Japanese blood, but I feel like my language is not as strong that to be recognized as a Japanese person, or maybe my look, the way I dress, or like the way I act is not Japanese enough for Japanese people to see me as Japanese, I guess.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese?
こんにちは、皆さん。宮崎ローレンスめぐみキャサリンです。よろしくお願いします。ジョージ大学で留学生です。
Seon, I'm from Bahamas, and I was over there for basically almost my whole life, and then from high school, I was able to come to Japan. My mom is actually Japanese, and my dad is from Bahamas, so I'm half.
What was it like growing up in Japan as half Japanese from 16 years old, maybe 15 years old? What was it like at the time?
At the time, I would say it was really difficult because my Japanese back then was pretty bad. Like I basically could understand it, I guess. And, through the years, because I went to a high school that basically was taught in Japanese only, I kind of had to survive. And then through there, I was just able to go really hard in the Japanese learning. And it's not perfect yet, but I'm still trying.
Have you had any experience of having identity crisis?
Any half, regardless of your race, I feel like has had an identity crisis at one point, or you have thought like, am I really this side or the next? When I was in Bahamas, I felt like I was called more or less white boy, even though, it's because basically everyone was darker than me. And then I started to think like, okay, if I was called white boy, do I really belong here? And then I come to Japan, and then of course I'm darker than everyone. And then you start thinking like, do I really belong here as well? But definitely, I would say any half has really had that type of thought, for sure.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese to my viewers?
Yeah. Seon です。私がバハマですけど、15歳くらいから日本に来て、高校からそこからずっと日本ですけど、今はサラリーマン IT 企業で。
これからもずっと日本に住む予定ですか？
大体5年ぐらいはここからいたいかな。普通に日本好きなんで。
Hello, my name is Kaori. My mother is Colombian and my father is Japanese. I was born and raised in Colombia and now I'm living in Tokyo.
Can you describe your experience of living in Colombia as half Japanese?
It was always like, oh, she is Asian.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, are you Asian? And he's like, Chinese or Japanese? And then I'm like, oh, I'm half Japanese. Being raised there, I would not say I had many experiences of racism, but there were just a few occasions that people did treat me not nicely for being Asian, so making Asian jokes and stuff. But in general, it was fine. My dad really tried when I was little living in Colombia. He gave us like homework from Monday to Friday to my brother and I, like, this is your Japanese homework. And on Saturdays, he make like little tests so we could practice Japanese, and inside the house we talk Japanese and Spanish mixed, like with my father and my mother. So he tried really hard since we were little to not forget that we were also Japanese, even though we were not living in Japan at the time.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese and Spanish?
やっほーかおりです。パパが日本人でママがコロンビア人です。コロンビア生まれ、コロンビア育ちで今は東京に住んでいます。Hola chicos y chicas, mi nombre es Kaori. Actualmente vivo en Tokio y estoy haciendo streams y videos en YouTube en español por si quieren ir a ver. Gracias.
My name is Monet, and I'm from Osaka. And my mom is Japanese, and my dad is Puerto Rican. Was born and raised in Japan, so I never even been to Puerto Rico.
Really?
No. So my mom used to live in Spain, and they met there, and they were dating, and they moved to Bronx, New York, and they were dating, and then they broke up, and my mom came back to Japan.
With you.
So yeah, and then she realized that she was pregnant, so she raised me alone. My experience of being mixed in Japan has been quite unique. I've been in the Japanese school system my entire life. When I was 7 or 8, I was biking on the street in a small town in Osaka where I'm originally from, and everyone kept staring at me, and I wondered why, and noticed that, oh yeah, I don't have a pure Japanese look as they do. These kind of things I've been struggling with my entire life. Also, many occasions that I've been treated as not Japanese person. Sometimes, like, due to my skin color and how I look. Sometimes people say, oh, your Japanese is really good, or you don't look Japanese when I introduce myself to them. All these experience kind of made me feel like, oh, I have no place that I belong to in this country. I never met my dad until I was 19, and he bought me a plane ticket to flying to New York City, and I met my dad and my brothers. But meeting them when I was 19, it was great because my brother treated me as brothers. One of my brothers are actually visiting me Tokyo next year. Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese?
僕の名前モネって言います、25歳で大阪出身で、母が日本人で父がプエルトリコ人です。3月に大学を卒業して仕事で東京に引っ越しました。フリーランスで、ファッションだったりビューティーだったりそういうことをやってます。
Hi, my name is Weezy. I'm half Russian, half Japanese. I was born in Guam and I lived in Guam, Hawaii, Japan, other places in America, and I live in Tokyo right now.
So you speak Russian, Japanese, and English?
Russian, Japanese, and English, yeah.
Like, how did you manage all the language to acquire?
Growing up in America, you just learn English naturally from being in the environment. But my mom spoke to me in Russian growing up, and my dad spoke to me in Japanese. So I was just able to retain it through living life.
Which language is the most comfortable, and then which language is the weakest, you say?
English is definitely the most comfortable. And the weakest is probably Japanese.
Are you planning to stay in Japan, or at some point you want to go to Russia or the States?
I definitely want to go back and forth from Tokyo and America.
Why not Russia?
Honestly, I've been there. I lived there before. I really love it. I love the culture. I love my family that is all from there, but it's a little bit too strict with their rules, the way they live. I can't do that.
Can you say something in Russian and Japanese?
Привет, меня зовут Майя, мне 23. 今は東京に住んでて、アメリカも行って、東京に帰ってきて、楽しい遊びしてます。
Hi, my name is Tomo. My mother is Lebanese, my father is Japanese, and I was born in Japan, lived in London and Brighton, a little bit in the US, and now I live in Tokyo.
How did your parents meet? Did they meet in Japan or Lebanon or?
Yeah, so my mom's sister, my aunt, was living in Japan, and then the war in Lebanon happened. So my mom came to Japan, and she met my father in high school when she was 15.
Could you share your experience of growing up in the UK and Japan as well? Like, yeah, what kind of experience did you have as half Japanese as Lebanese?
London is so mixed, it's so diverse. It's very interesting because I remember when I was 4, I went to England, and people are very inviting, like they're very like welcoming. So people would be like, hey, we have a party, come to our house. And in Japan, you know, you don't usually go to people's homes. So it was like, I was very used to that, and sleeping over at people's houses and all that, and always having like parties and again, bringing people to their homes. So it was very interesting.
Can you say something in Arabic and Japanese?
Yeah, sure. Ana isme Tomo, nus lebnene, nus yabane. 僕はスクーバダイビング大好きです。60カ国行ってます。Google とか BBC、CNN とかのために撮影してます。
どこの国が一番好きでした？
一番好きな国、まあ難しいけど、ペルーのマチュピチュ、ヨルダンのペトラとかラディラム。
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm half Japanese and half Nigerian. I was born and raised in Japan.
黒人のハーフとして育つっていうのはどうでした？自分自身のアイデンティティ、自分自身の考え方とか。
小学校中学校ぐらいまでは周りがみんな日本人だからなんか自分が人と違うなとかいう感覚があったり、その周りの子たちに合わせたりとか、髪ストレートにしたりとか、去年、アメリカに行ってでそこでなんか結構いろんな人を見て、自分らしく行こうと思って宿毛矯正やめて今はカーリーヘアです。
ナイジェリアに行ったことはありますか？
行ったことはないです。両親が離婚してるので日本人のお母さんと生活してきたのでないです。
ナイジェリアは自分のもう一つの国でもあるじゃないですか。行ってみたいわっていうのはありますか？それとも別になんかあんまりないですか？
そんなに気にしてないです。血がたまたま入ってただけでなんかそんなに重要視はしてないです。
Random question. Do you know the best season to visit Japan? The answer is cherry blossom season, which means it's coming soon. But even if you cannot make it to Japan, there's one way you can still experience this special season by enjoying Japan's unique snacks. Sakurako and Tokyo Treat offer exclusive treats that will make you feel like you're in Japan. Sakurako is a subscription service where you receive a monthly Japanese artisan snack box filled with traditional and authentic Japanese snacks. Sakurako helps in partnering with local Japanese snack makers to continue to share Japanese culture and tradition that have been passed down for over 100 years. This month's theme is Seasons of Sakura. Sakura season in Japan celebrates renewal, beauty, and tradition through gatherings and seasonal treats. And Sakurako also has tableware every month. This month, I got this Sakura sake glass. And Tokyo Treat is packed with the latest seasonal sweets. In contrast to Sakurako, which represents traditional Japanese culture, you can feel a modern life in Japan with Tokyo Treat. This month's theme is Cherry Blossom Bites. Experience the joy of Sakura season with delicious cherry blossom treats and Japanese snacks, bringing the spirits of Hanami to you. And each snack is explained so that you can see what's produced. And you can also check allergen information. This will give you more places to go when you come to Japan. So if you like to experience having a good quality Japanese snack right in your home, sign up for a multiple month plan using the link on the description below to get a special Sakura bonus item, or use code Takashi to save $5 on your first order and join the Hanami picnic from the comfort of your home. Okay, let's get back to interviews. Please introduce your background.
Hello, my name is Emilia Sakura Sato. So my dad is Japanese and my mom is Indonesian. I was born and raised in Jakarta, Indonesia, and now I'm coming to Japan to visit my family.
So you never lived in Japan?
No, only stay. I want to, maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Jakarta, like as half Japanese?
I think it was quite fun because I went to international school, so we have a lot of friends from around the world. Also, the teacher is from like America, the UK, or the Australia, so it's cultural, everything. And then as half Japanese, actually in the international school, I have one friend who is half also. And I think in Jakarta, there are a lot of Japanese people also.
So what language do you speak?
I speak 3 languages, so English, Indonesian, and Japanese a little bit. When I was in Jakarta, I went to international school. That's why I learned English, and I got fluent to English. And then my Indonesian language is because of I have to speak to my family, to my mom. And my Japanese is because I have to speak Japanese with my dad.
Talking to your dad was the only opportunity to speak Japanese.
So when I was a kid, I actually went to the language school in Jakarta.
Okay.
So I learned the Japanese. My dad learned Indonesian.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I learned. And then my dad actually also taught me Japanese at home. So he made me learn to speak Japanese.
Can you say something in Japanese and Indonesian?
こんにちは、エメリア桜里です。私の父が日本人、あと母がインドネシア人です。今はジャカルタに住んでます。In Indonesian, Hai, nama saya Melia Sakura Sato. Jadi saya orang Jepang dan Indonesia. Dan saya sudah tinggal di Jakarta lama dari kecil. Sekarang saya di Jepang untuk ketemu keluarga saya. Jadi kalian harus coba ke Jepang ya.
Hi, my name is Noah. My mom is Japanese. My dad is Moroccan, but I was born and raised in England.
So Morocco and Japan, any similarity or differences you noticed?
The first thing I noticed is the people. I'd say that Moroccans are quite more united. Like, if you see someone in the street, within like 10 minutes, they could be your brother or your sister almost. And I feel like in Japan, it's a bit more harder to go talk to people that you don't know. On the other hand, I feel like Japanese they're very respectful and they're very disciplined. I feel like despite cultures being so different, I think there's the best of both sides. And I try to take that into myself and try and be the best person I could be.
In the future, where do you think you're gonna live? In like UK, Japan, or Morocco?
I haven't really thought about this question yet, but I'd love to try at least 1 or 2 years in Japan and 1 or 2 years in Morocco and see where I go from there. But I do feel more naturally European, I'd say, in terms of my personality. So I could see myself living there more, but who knows? I'd love to give it a try anyway.
Okay, so maybe you can introduce yourself in Japanese and Arabic.
Okay, こんにちは。私の名前はノアです。お母さんは日本人で静岡県浜松。で、お父さんはモロッコ人。でも生まれたからイギリスに住んでいます。よろしくお願いします。Assalamualaikum, ismi Noah. Aiti sakna fatanja. Bakhri ta'ilum Arabia or Darija. Inshallah. Dima maghrib.
Hi, I'm Lena Bambino. I'm half Japanese and I'm half Italian-Irish from LA.
What's it like living in Japan as half Japanese, not from Japan?
Well, I do speak the language, so I feel like it's very comfortable for me. But I feel like because I look very foreign, I can get away with not speaking perfect Japanese. So I feel like that can be a little bit of an advantage.
So people think you're a foreigner.
Yes, all the time, all the time.
Are you gonna live in Japan for good?
I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe go back to LA. Japan is really nice, but I feel like I'm not able to fully express myself. I feel like I have to tone down myself a little bit. But when I go back to LA, I can be like, like a little bit more out there. So maybe go back and forth will be ideal, but maybe not Tokyo. Maybe some other place in Japan. Yeah.
How did you learn Japanese? Talking with your mom? Or?
I spoke with my mom ever since I was little, and my household was Japanese. Even though I lived in LA, I lived with my mom, just my mom, and she always had Japanese shows on, and she spoke to me in Japanese, and I also went to Japanese school. So that was actually my first language before English.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese?
はじめまして、レイナ・バンビーノです。日本に来て8年目になります。日本では英語を教えてたり、あとは MC だったりナレーションのお仕事をさせてもらっています。よろしくね。
Hi, my name is Kai.
Hi, my name is Ken.
We are brothers and we were born in Caracas, Venezuela, but we are half Spanish and half Japanese. We've been living here in Tokyo for 2 years now.
How's your life in Japan so far compared to Spain?
超楽。住むの楽。コンビニとかに24時間あるし、夜2時の朝お腹が空いたら普通にコンビニ行くじゃん。スペインとかはないのそれ。
東京はいいところいっぱいあるけど、悪いところっつったらスペインの中でマジョルカっていうちっちゃい島に育ったの。東京はもう世界中で一番いる人じゃん。それがめっちゃショックだ。一日のペースも島に比べるとめっちゃ早い。
ずっと you guys gonna live in Japan or at some point do you guys want to go back to Spain or
5年とか10年住みたいかな日本。将来はまだ分かんないかな。
そう短くって言ったら日本には住みたい。仕事もこっちだし、日本も大好きだし、あとアジアもめっちゃトラベルしてから日本でのベースをして。その6ヶ月日本に住んで6ヶ月は旅するっていうのもめっちゃいい。
Can you say something in Spanish? your native language, right? Can you say something in Spanish?
Hola, me llamo Ken, vivo aquí en Japón, llevamos 2 años viviendo y muy contento con Japón.
Hola, me llamo Kai, tengo 25 años, me dedico también a la creación de contenido como Takashi, como Kai Nihon, y me encanta Japón y todo lo que envuelve a este hermoso país.
Hello, my name is Serena. I'm half Italian, half Japanese. I grew up mostly in Italy and I was educated in public school in my small town there. It was not easy for me being half Asian in that environment and I got bullied for my unique facial features and I never appreciated the fact that I was half Japanese. But now I really love my Japanese origins and I'm proud to. Now I live in Italy and I go to a university there, but now I'm here in Japan only for the summertime.
Do you think there's possibility that you wanna live in Japan, like for a long time?
I hope so because I really love Japan and I would love to live in Japan. Sure.
Any particular reason?
Maybe because I can be myself there. It's so cool living here in Tokyo. So yes, for this.
Tokyo. It's gonna be Tokyo.
Yes, I hope so.
So how many languages do you speak?
I can speak Japanese, Italian, and English.
You wanna say something in Italian and Japanese?
Ciao, mi chiamo Serena, mio padre è italiano e mia madre è giapponese. Sono nata in Giappone ma sono cresciuta in Italia, ma ho perfezionato le mie conoscenze della lingua giapponese. Konnichiwa, 私の名前はセレナです。福岡生まれだけどイタリア育ちです。で、日本語まあまあ喋れるのは、全部お母さんのおかげで毎日1時間は絶対に日本語の勉強をしたので、日本語喋れるのでやっぱり日本語をしているの便利なので、泣きながら勉強したんですけど、すごい難しくて、でも今はすごいありがたいです。
My name is Luke. My mum is Japanese and my dad is Italian, French and Austria. I recently moved to Tokyo 2 weeks ago and born and raised in Sydney, Australia.
You mix with lots of nationalities, right? Which country has the biggest impact on your personality?
I think it's Japanese because I used to watch a lot of Japanese anime and also YouTube. So a lot of my background, a lot of my culture comes from Japan.
Like you used to come to Japan like every year or something?
Yeah, since preschool until year 9, I came every year for roughly a month and I went to a local rural high school, but then I didn't come for 3 years, and then I came back when I was 18 for a year and a bit, and then I came back again 2 years after, and I'm 21 right now.
The countries your dad's from, Italy, France, and Australia, any connection with those countries?
I have a connection through my mother's cooking, which she learnt from my dad's mother, so my dad's side's grandmother. She makes all of Italian food, she makes tiramisu, and that's how I get connected with my Italian roots.
Can you say something in Japanese?
最初に日本語を学んで、そこから学校行くたびにちょっと英語を学んだ感じです。
じゃあ日本語と英語は同じレベル？
同じレベルですね。結構日本語を先に学んで、でもオーストラリア住んでたんで、結構平等に多分上達したかなと思います。
Hello, my name is Naomi. I'm half German, half Japanese. My mother is from Germany and my father is from Japan. And I lived in Japan until I was 7 years old and then moved to Germany. I've been visiting Japan sometimes during like the summer holidays. And now I moved back about 4 years ago to Japan.
Your German personality and your Japanese personality, anything that you want to say?
I think that when I was living in Germany, I definitely felt more Japanese. I think I'm a bit more shy and quiet and reserved. So I think life in Japan, of course, there are also, plus and minus in every country. But in general, I feel like Japanese lifestyle, way of living and the way the people in general are here really suits me. So yeah, I like it here.
Do you think it's true that some people say Japanese people and Germans are pretty similar? Like when it comes to like punctuality and everything, do you think it's true?
I think it's definitely true. I was thinking about this, and I think the stereotype of German, I think as well as Japanese people, is they're very punctual and also really follow the rules. So yeah, I think German and Japanese people are very similar in that regard. And also I think that privacy is a big thing in Germany and Japan. People are pretty in general private, so I think they're pretty similar in that sense. Yeah.
Maybe you want to say something in German and Japanese?
Yes, of course. First in German. Hallo, mein Name ist Naomi. Ich bin halb Japanisch, halb Deutsch und lebe derzeit in Japan. And then in Japanese. こんにちは、加藤直美と申します。日本とドイツのハーフで今は静岡に住んでいまして、でもたまには遊びに東京に来てます。今も浅草に泊まっていてすごく楽しいです。
Okay, anyway, thank you for watching so far. How was it? That was into interesting. I'm planning to make more video about people who have specific background like them. If you're one of them, please let me know. Let me interview you. Also, don't forget to follow my Instagram and TikTok. I upload short version of my interviews there. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like button. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any question you want to ask people in Japan, please leave a comment too. See you next time.